people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honourable
You human trafficker.
Honourable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me this morning on Open Air is a regular guest, Mr. Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu, a political analyst. Good morning, Ugochukwu. It's a pleasure to have you on Open Air today.
Good morning, Choma. Happy Sunday.
I wish you the same.
And we thank God that we are here. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning to Port Harcourt City. And I have to say that the Nigerian government should help Nigerians by ameliorating the heat. The heat is much, so that those construction, I know that the government is doing a lot. There are a lot of construction going on across the country. Like we had feelers that even in the FCT minister is doing, waiting for the 1 year in office of the president for there to be landmark projects to be commissioned. So a lot of things that are making the rains to be far away from us. But most times, they should allow the rains to drop, even if it's at night, so that we can get cooler weather.
You think the government is holding the rain?
No, I mean, they will tell the construction companies are running to beat the time.
Okay, now.
Yes, the time, so that they are now.
So the construction companies
are the ones holding the reins.
Actually holding
yes,
the
yes,
is that a real thing?
Yes,
There's something like holding
it is
the
real.
Oh,
it is
wow.
real. It is you know, technology and science goes together.
Okay.
So in this kind of issue, there are some certain chemicals that are emitted to the air that hold it off.
Just like Dubai did and then brought the rain. Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. Crisis is brewing in the Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party as another faction has emerged within the party ahead of the governorship election in the state. Led by the National Vice Chairman South-South, Dan Obe, the faction declared it will support the governorship ambition of the PDP candidate Asue Yodalu. Obi also gave the party a snub ahead of the September 21 governorship election with his rejection of an appointment as a member of the governorship campaign council. Obi, leader of the anti-Obaseki's legacy coalition in the party, had been named a member of the campaign council last week, apparently in a bid by the party to carry along all interest groups in the run-up to the polls. Interesting times ahead of the September 21 governorship. Interesting times in those states, don't you think?
I think so.
Now, what do you make of this faction coming up in PDP in those states? PDP, don't they have their hands full at this point? What do you make of this drama now happening in PDP?
You know, this is a case of the typical Nigerian system of politicking.
Okay.
So these are the traditional Nigerian politicians, the way they behave. Before 2020 general elections, in state government elections in Edo State, this particular man was pro Obaseki, but now 4 years down the line, the leader of the anti-coalition.
Coalition means different
interest groups coming together to those that championed the cause of Obaseki coming to power. And an interesting leg to it is that he is also an ally, or he is also someone that is always romance with the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike.
Okay.
So you will not remove Obaseki's tenure, Obaseki's second tenure. You will not say, there is what I always tell my friends. I say, when you have a friend, it is either the person is coming to your life, you remember the person either for good or for bad. It's not all your friends that will end up with you on a good note. This is a human being for you. But in any point in time, that particular person is telling the story of his or her life, the person will mention you. If you don't come in the negative, you come in the positive in the course of the person's life. Especially if he had come at a time where you played a role, either major or you were detrimental to something the person would have achieved at that point in time. You will always, the person's name will always play a significant role, either or for, in that person's historical life. So, Obaseki's second tenure story will not end without mentioning the likes of Nyesom Wike. And if this particular man who is championing the anti-Obaseki coalition now has interfaced with Nyesom Wike 2020, so you will not rule out why he's called a friend of Nyesom Wike.
You mean Dan Obe?
Dan Obe.
Okay.
He has an affinity with Nyesom Wike. So this is what the PDP Obaseki group did, was they are trying to do a damage control after the impeachment of Shaibu. If you go down the storyline, you find out that Dan Obe is even not in approval of the impeachment of Shaibu. And now, remember what I've been telling you, he has given Shaibu a voice. Shaibu is in the PDP. I told you the last time that Shaibu will be in PDP, but he will work against PDP.
Hasn't he reconciled with Adam Soshomole right now?
But I'm telling you that he will not come out in the open and begin to mingle with Adam Soshomole. And if you go by the storyline of what Dan Obi has said, Dan Obi has learned from the master himself, which is Nyesom Wike. He has told them, his people and the coalition groups, that we are going to make a statement. We are telling you where we are going. But he's still in the PDP. But he has clearly said that the person that Obaseki is fronting is not the person that will lead Edo State to the promised land. So they have shown you the deep and sharp divide in the PDP camp. You know, this is a win-win for Shaibu. Because suddenly Shaibu has found a voice. You know, if a child is beaten by the mother, you know, suddenly he finds solace with the father, whom hitherto fathers play this kind of role in their children's life, that they are not always they are not always giving their children that platform to be very free with them, you know, the bozy kind of father. But once the mother spanks the child suddenly runs to the father for shelter and for solace. So Shaibu, who has been in Kokums all this, maybe in the last 3 weeks, has finally found a voice. He was in that meeting of the coalition. And I told you that he will do everything possible to work with APC, because of the faction in a Labour Party now, among the obedience, he cannot go there, because every politician, as Nyesom Wike will say it, is fighting for his survival.
Not just the Labour Party leaving, not just the obedience leaving Labour Party, they are also having issues with respect to the deputy governor. To the deputy Obi, you will hear that he said that Edo people will make a statement. You take it back, yes, in the election, you take it back to what happened in 2020 when they told the city president now, in the person of Ashwaju, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, that Edo is not Lagos. And they kept to it. He told, and every time that you are having elections in Edo State, you hear of Isako, North and West, you hear of in Edo State, and those two... And Shaibu comes from that...
From Isako North or East.
Yes.
And now, this particular Obi is from there. And there is a member of House of Representatives who is from the other side of... I don't know whether it's Esang or what. He's there now. So, and if you look at the big wigs that attended that political gathering, you find out that, I know that prior to the emergence of Obaseki,
just that was instrumental to Adam Soshomole, you know, losing his seat as the national chairman.
No, and for him,
a lot of issues.
Yes, for him now, for Soshomole to you know, immerse himself deeper in the murky waters of politics in Edo State, he did not embrace the people who gave him the platform, the likes of Dan Obe. If you go through the words of the man, you find out that these are the owners of PDP. They did not take him into account when he was to present somebody whom the flag bearer of PDP now, they describe him as not a grassroots politician in Edo State.
And not just
that he's been imported.
There's also a concern, you know, when you're talking about the mistakes Obaseki has made politically, that might lead to PDP losing the governorship race. You know, one of the grounds Edo people have, you know, particularly from the political divide, the local government where Shaibu hails from, is that You know, they have Edo North, Edo Central, and all of that.
They have Isako West and Isako North.
Now, where Shuaibu hails from, where you have majority of the political bigwigs
in Edo State.
Now, Shuaibu was impeached, and ordinarily they expected that a replacement would still come from that, disregarded that, and brought in someone who does not come from that
particular
that divide.
Yes.
Yeah. So now these people in that divide are feeling insulted, and this is the main political colossus you're talking about in Edo State. They are there. So when you consider all these things like you have analyzed, do you see these people just working against Obaseki in the sense that they will work for APC, you know, underground, or do you foresee a situation where they are not just going to do anything, they are not going to work for APC, but they will just watch PDP lose, you know, without batting an eyelid?
You know,
what do you see playing out, and how will it affect the interest of these players right now? Because if they lose to APC, then they will have to
be
wait.
out of the
probably,
sea.
Yes.
They'll run out of oil.
And there is no guarantee that after 4 years they will come back, because incumbency is a major factor you have to consider. Yes, in Nigerian politics.
You know, the problem we have in Nigeria is what former President Jonathan said about the Nigerian politician, that it's about winner takes it all. But when you come to Edo State and what is happening in Edo as of today, Obaseki has ended up, you know, destroying the structure that brought him into PDP. Obaseki had disregard when he was choosing his successor.
Okay.
He didn't manage his disagreement with his deputy maturely. He did not consider them while replacing Shaibu, whom was impeached. When they are now taunting for the deputy governor, the deputy governor for for September 21st governorship election, they've not taken them into considerations. So, for politics, what the FCT minister Nyesom Wike had described it as is the politics. You have to maintain your structure.
Okay.
You have to oil your structure, and the oiling your structure relevancy. If I don't maintain my structure, that is his words. And if you look at it in the Nigerian setting, if you are a core politician, that is why it will be very difficult for Nigerians to have an ideology playing out in political parties, because they want where the cake is. They don't mind, whatever they have said, even that is on record. There are a lot of things that former governor of Rivers State said on record, but today he's in the other divide. Why? You have to, stay where any ship, any fish that is out of waters is already good as dead. So Dan Obe and his cohorts in this coalition are looking for relevance, and they are tending towards where the oil is. And the APC has positioned themselves as the people that will capture the seat because of the antecedents of Obaseki. Now, if you tell me that someone who is in PDP, who has told you that I will not support the governorship flag bearer of PDP, he is going to play where his mouth is. And where is their mouth? Time will tell. Because they will not tell us, for you not to accuse them of anti-party activity. But they are going to carefully play the politics of Nyesom Wike. Where they will tell their foot soldiers where to vote. All of them that made statement in that particular gathering has said that their foot soldiers should wait and watch their next step and what they will tell them. That is where they have pegged it, and that is where it is. So anybody that emerges, if you look at the political landscape and what is going on now, you know where they are going to.
Okay.
And you know that where they are going is where their mouth is. And for Obaseki to have drawn the name of Dan Obe in the campaign train of the governorship election that is coming in Edo State, is a case of shaving a man's hair in his absence.
All right.
He should have, because he knows that he cannot consult him, but he wants to pacify him.
The action is belated.
Yes, the action is belated because the man is already aggrieved, and he did not manage it. That is why we say in Nigeria, it is better you manage crisis when it is still in the in incubator.
Yeah.
But when it is out, you can't manage it. So Obaseki has ended up destroying the chances of PDP, and those that brought him into PDP and gave him platform want to show him the Zido, that they have the capacity and capability of also rendering him what the Latin people will call impossible.
All right. Aaron Ozodike, a member of the People's Democratic Party, who was declared the winner of March 18, 2023 House of Assembly election by the Court of Appeal, has again appealed to the Speaker of Abia State House of Assembly, Emmanuel Emeruwa, to swear him in as member representing Aba North constituency. Ozodike, who was on November 27, 2023, declared the winner of the election by the Court of Appeal sitting in Lagos, which also removed Mr. Destiny Nwagu of the Labour Party from office. Speaking to journalists in Umuahia on his travels, Ozodike appealed to Governor Alex Oti to obey the law and prevail on the Speaker to inaugurate him without further delay, as according to him, his people has not been represented in the past 5 months. Displaying his certificate and the CTC of the judgment during the interview, Ozodike said it was shocking that he was yet to be allowed to represent his people, despite the certificate of return issued to him on December 13, 2023 by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Joining me on Open Air this morning is Olori Godwin, a politician and a political analyst. Good morning, Mr. Godwin, and thank you for coming on Open Air today.
Well, good morning. Thank you.
All right. Now, what is your take on the issue in Abia State House of Assembly, the Speaker not yet swearing in a member of the House?
Well, thank you. I think it's becoming a norm to the extent that it's not all about Abia State. Nigeria is becoming known, and the political actors in our enclave, in this country, Nigeria, are becoming known for lawlessness, if you ask me. Because I see no reason why a candidate that stood for an elections and contested for election, whether he emerged through the electoral processes or he emerged as by virtue of post-election matters, and the appeal court duly granted him victory, and he has no other legal encumbrances or any other legal entanglement or hitches, and ought to be sworn in straight away by the Speaker of the Assembly. There's no reason why, having the CTC, having everything in his possession, there's no reason why the Speaker of the State House of Assembly will refuse swearing him in. Now that goes to show you how lawless the political actors could be. From what I read, I understand that there is actually or virtually nothing stopping the Speaker from swearing in. But as I go down further, I understood that the member representing Aba North, right?
Yes.
Has actually alleged that the Speaker is trying to coerce him to begin to swear allegiance or shift to Labour Party, so as to be sworn in. That there are some powers that be behind the scene, controlling and actually forestalling or thwarting the swearing in. So that goes to show you how, the peculiarity of our politics. It is quite sad. It is an anomaly, and it's not the way to go.
All right. Now, Mr. Ugochukwu, Mr. Godwin talked about the lawlessness that is seemingly prevalent among politicians in the political space, according to him. But do you think it's a case of the judiciary being weak as a system? Because, I mean, it makes sense that someone will win, or a candidate will win elections via post-election election matters in the appeal court. And there is an order given with a certificate of return and a court order to swear him in. And up until now, that is not done. And do not forget how it is affecting his constituents. Because what it means is they are not in governance, they are not represented in governance in Abia State. What do you make of that?
You see, Nigeria is not a lawless state. Nigeria is a nation that is being guided by a constitution that is recognized and which should be the template for governance in Nigeria. And in that constitution, you now have the clauses. They also have the ones they call bills, the ones they call acts, and all that. Why they bring out those ones is what the constitution did not clearly spell. The bills will now accumulate into acts. We now, state it clearly and how it should be done. And that is where you have, that is what gave birth to the Electoral Act. Nigeria have an Electoral Act. Electoral Act should be the guidance towards, solving this problem that is raising its ugly head in Abia State. A candidate has gone to court. His mandate was stolen. He went through the court, the tribunal, and accumulating to appeal court. And the appeal court granted him his prayers and mandated INEC to withdraw the certificate of return that was issued to the former person, maybe a Labour Party man who won the elections, and ordered INEC to give him back the certificate of return. And having done that, the court has done due diligence. It is now beholding on what? On INEC to go back to court and say that the certificate you asked us to give this person, that the House of Assembly has not heeded to your word, to the request. And again, I call out the governor of Abia State. This should not be had in his state. Given that Nigerians are looking for someone that will set the pace. Nigerians are looking for where to look on for solace. If this is happening in his state, assuming it's something that is directly concerning him or any of his party man, he would have spoken. He would have been crying foul to the high heavens and say that, look at his party man or his party is being shortchanged. What is holding him, Alex Oti, from impressing it upon the speaker, who he interfaces every now and then to swear in this place? The more the merrier. See, in any political party, why you have opposition it is what makes it dynamic. It is the beauty of democracy. When you are in a house and it is everything you say is oh yes, it doesn't give room for the beauty of it. Look at the Nigerian National Assembly now. You see the coloration. You see the beauty. Despite the fact that Nigerians are not getting what they bargained for or what they are supposed to get from this present National Assembly as being constituted. Diverse political parties, mixture of, we have expected that there will be opinions that will be debated upon. That some people will stage a walkout. What we know is not when you go there, you now begin to align for you to get a party gift. That is not the beauty of democracy. The beauty of democracy, even if it's one person that is the dissenting voice, his voices will be heard. I will give you an example. I was in the seminary. When I went to study in another country, I was the only person from my congregation. That is how the Catholic Church organizations are. You have different societies. I was the only person. Do you know that every Sunday I do prayer, I book mass with the name of my congregation. And the people, most of the students thought that we are many. Because even people that we are so many in the place, they don't even do as much as I do. Anything they are doing in the school, I contribute in the name of that particular order that I belong to. People were asking me, where are your brothers? They were thinking that we are so many. That is the beauty of it. In school, they give me my own quota, I do. So you find out that our lawmakers will be more than 5 from a political party. They go to the house, they allow their voices to be swallowed. It is not the beauty of democracy. So I am calling on Governor Oti. I'm not calling on the judiciary. I'm not calling on INEC, because he will not say he has not heard. It is shameful. It is unheard of. It is not what we expect of Labour Party, that Nigerians are yet from Atlantic television on a national television that he should do the needful. There is nothing that is holding this man that has gone through the courts. And even you don't like his face. What of the people of his constituents? Who is representing them? Who is lending their voice, their concerns in the house? And the person that is the speaker of the house, you don't coerce people to join you. Respect is earned. And if somebody wants to be your friend, it is your countenance, your disposition will align the person. If this man enters as a PDP man, and he finds out that Labour is doing tremendously well, you will not coerce him. You see the people, some of the lawmakers in Enugu State, on their own, from Labour Party, they moved to PDP. Nobody coerced them. We do not hear of any quarrels. Then if you're not going to swear him in, give us the substantive and tangible evidence why he should not be sworn in. And also, the National Assembly should wade in, because they oversee anything that is happening in the State Assembly. Is constitutionally granted. And the Electoral Act also should be biting. The Electoral Act in Nigeria is not biting. That is why we have some of those loopholes and loose ends. So if the Electoral Act, I know they will tinker with it, because there are a lot of flaws that happened in 2023 general elections. So if they tinker it and it is stringent, that once those pronouncements are made, you don't need the police. You don't need the judge who has delivered, who has done due diligence to come and be telling the State House Assembly to swear in. For what? Nigeria is a state governed by law, and the 3 arms of government should work in unison. That's why the fact they are working, they have their working jurisdiction cut out for them. That is my submission on this.
All right. A member of the House of Representatives representing Elaje and Sheodo Federal Constituency in Ondo State, Honorable Donald Kimikambo Ojogo, has called for genuine and comprehensive reconciliation following the disagreements trailing the conduct of the All Progressive Congress governorship primary election in the state. Ojogo also asked Governor Lucky Ayadetiwa to rein in his supporters, who incessantly engage in the disparagement and insult of other aspirants and those who offered to differ with them. He said this in a statement issued and personally signed by him in Akure, the state capital. The former Information and Orientation Commissioner in the state noted that the governor's supporters are neither helping the governor nor the unity of our party, he said. Now, let me still come to you, Mr. Ifani. On those states, after the primaries, after the APC primaries, in the first place, there were allegations that it was rife with electoral malpractices. Do not forget Okitipupa local government area.
Saga.
Yes, Saga, the violence that went with elections there. And then some other aspirants also were unsatisfied. You know, some also said elections there, in fact, as at the time Governor Dodo announced the result. That electoral materials have not even arrived in their ward. People like Edema, an aspirant,
yes.
okay, also had that allegation to make. And the aftermath of that APC primaries, the PDP came out to make a mockery of the APC elections. I mean, there were too many people, too many interest groups were calling out on those states' APC primaries, saying it is not right. Now, the PDP APC National Working Committee, in the same vein like they did in Edo State, are also employing mercenaries to see that all aspirants, they reconcile them and, their grievances are addressed. But however, now, this stakeholder is calling out Ayadetiwa's men, calling on Governor Ayadetiwa to rein in his people because of certain comments there. At this point, with how fickle, how sensitive it is right now in APC,
yes,
on those states, do you think it's even actually right the foot soldiers of Governor Ayadetiwa to start making boisterous comments? And if Governor Ayadetiwa is unable to rein in his people, his men, people of his faction, how do you think is going to play out? Are we going to see a similar and almost similar thing boiling in PDP Edo State right now? Are we going to see a near picture of that on those states APC? What do you think?
If the APC National do not quickly come to the table on what is happening in Ondo State, APC will lose Ondo State. Remember that Ondo State is not a large state. It's one of the states with a manageable number in Nigeria that people can reach out to. And when you talk about the primaries and the fallout, Ayadetiwa by now should have they should have constituted a committee to be going around for the reconciliation. You remember immediately after the APC presidential primaries, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu then, who emerged the victor in APC primaries, quickly constituted his team. APC National did not even talk about that. They went ahead with ordinary party primary that was supplementary. And even before the supplementary, because of the noise and the caliber of people, and also the number of people that contested with him, 15 of them in number, that they started crying foul before Ododo was able to say there will be a supplementary. But he has already announced, which I now asked that day that, having made this announcement and somebody has been in the lead already, if you conduct in 10 local governments now with only 19,000 plus votes to play with, who is already at the driving seat? You have already favored someone and you want to make a U-turn as if you want to pacify others. These are some of the things you do. Igbo people have an adage that a watch you're wearing by your wrist, you don't need a mirror to look at it. So everything was so glaring, and I find it unacceptable that at this time that the Ondo State Governor Ayadetiwa, who knew the people that opposed him, even when he had to endorse his resignation as for him to get to an acting, not even a governor, to an acting governor during the early part of Akredolu's life. And after signing that, he saw that those people were powerful, those commissioners were very powerful. The kitchen cabinet of Akredolu were very powerful to get him on the knees, for the president to listen to them, and for him to endorse that no commissioner will be sacked, and that he had already signed his resignation letter if any of those people were sent packing as members of the cabinet. Having seen all that play out and fate smiled on him, he should have been the one to assume the posture of a peacemaker, knowing that I've gotten this, I've gotten it. Go all out. anything it takes, appease those ones, let them work with you. Because the dynamism of the Western politics is not something you will hold on to and say that as an incumbent you're going to win. Is a lie. He know it. And the APC National knows that the political awareness and the time you will bribe people to come and vote for you is not now. So he is doing himself a disservice for allowing the House to be in disarray. So I am calling on him. You know that one of the things that made Obi lose some of the big wits that would have come near him was the excessiveness of the obedient group as it comes to the management of the, what do you call it, the social media. And that is what he's suffering now. You cannot just sit in and denigrate people like Wale Oke. He is a force to reckon with. You know that his name has been appearing in every election in Ondo State. And his movement is grassroots, is organic. That at the end of the day, anywhere even when Akeredolu contested, Akeredolu went to him. He contested with Akeredolu. After that, Akeredolu mended fences quickly with him, knowing what his value is in Ondo State. If Ayedetiwa and the APC National, you know why I'm calling APC National is that they normally put things on the table. You get this, you get that, you get this, you get that, and everybody says, okay, after that, I did not lose out. If they didn't quickly come and do that, and the types of Ojo, is it Ojo, the former commissioner for finance, who is the caucus leader of the kitchen cabinet of Akeredolu then, who is working with the wife, and Wale Oke decides to shift their support base to the PDP. There is nothing that federal might is going to, because we don't hear of Togre in all those places. They are so learned. Everybody has a professor in their kitchens in this kind of places. So there is nothing you will tell them. They will only follow what their mind tells them, where they will continue to maintain the peace and the tranquility in that state. But if APC, of course, I don't blame APC, because the national chairman who should quickly wade in is still battling for survival.
No, the national chairman actually...
Yes, he's still battling to clear his name.
The national chairman actually has invited the aspirants to quickly...
No, I know, but what is he going to tell them?
Apparently, from the body language of the aspirants, it appears that for now, whatever talks, you know, that the national chairman is having with the aggrieved parties, for now, it has not yielded
any fruit.
Much fruit for now. But then, let me come to you, Mr. Olorin Godwin. What is your take in this debacle going on in Ondo State? How do you see APC Ondo State surviving this? Do not forget that they have the Akeredolu faction. You can't take that away. So even within the rank and file of APC in Ondo State, Akeredolu faction still has influence. And from the body language of Betty, the wife of the late governor, it's clear that Ayedetiwa has been unable to galvanize the Akeredolu faction to align and work with him. But then, what do you make of that, considering the Akeredolu faction and all the other aggrieved aspirants?
Well, I want to take this whole issue from diverse prongs approach, because leadership is a whole lot. It entails so much, especially political leadership. Some people just find themselves, maybe fate thrust upon them a position of leadership, especially in our polity.
Yes.
And owing to the fact that they are not properly grounded in political affairs or having political foresightedness or intelligence, they always tend to fall by the side. They don't last.
Yes.
Now, so many things happen after party primaries. You know, only one person will emerge. Agree with me?
Yes.
And it is incumbent on whoever has emerged. So, like, genuinely make very conscious, genuine efforts in reaching out to other aspirants who might have been aggrieved, especially the big wigs
within the
that
state
has grassroots. Because it's very ironic that in our system, most times, the popular ones do not emerge in party primaries.
Yes.
They hardly emerge.
But they are the kingmakers.
Those people, you don't overlook them.
Yes.
You mentioned the late governor's factor.
Yes.
That is late doesn't mean he never had structure.
He has
his wife is still alive. He has his lieutenant, his foot soldiers.
That is former commissioner for finance.
And these are grassroots. Now, I want to join my voice to the APC government that is calling for genuine reconciliation. It's vital. Trust me, it is imperative you begin to close ranks. So much so that if you are able to appeal to their conscience and win their support, and it makes it easier for you. Now, there are political leaders in the party.
Yes.
The national is there. But just like you said, the national is losing grips because the party chairman has too much battles on all cylinders, on all fronts, on his own angle.
Yes.
So he's not really settled now to begin to go into all this. But it behoves of other stakeholders. It behoves on the national, other stakeholders at the national level, and those at the state who really have the interest of the party at heart. Because as it stands now, I think there are so many diverse interests. People don't care what happens to the party anymore, but their own interests. Now, why would I sell out my party? Because the candidate who emerged, I don't like his face. So party loyalty is beginning to be questioned. Because as it stands now, politicians now are like chameleons. They are too swift to changing moods and changing choices, changing loyalty. My party a candidate has emerged my party, primaries, and even if the candidate, I don't like the candidate, I should be loyal to my party. But the party should also protect my interests too. Now, the supporters, I want to go to that approach now, the angle. You see, one problem, just like you rightly said, one problem will be had was the supporters.
Yes.
You cannot
could not manage them.
You cannot have a peaceful disposition as a leader. You cannot have a disposition of somebody who is all welcoming, who has opened up policy,
and who has respect,
who is accommodating, who has respect, and your supporters are saying otherwise. It discourages. It has its negative effect on
men that want to come around
on your prospects in emerging, and it also sends this acrimony or bad blood amongst other supporters and their leaders, because believe it or not, a leader who does not call his supporters to order gives a wrong signal to those who could have sympathy or favor him on his cause.
Yes.
So I think the supporters have a lot to do by actually working out well to seeing that their leaders have a smooth say in the course of the electionary campaigns and processes. So it's quite important that leaders should call their supporters to order. You have to curb their excesses, because some of these supporters, we have this overzealousness. We want to please you, sometimes to the detriment of your leaders' prospects. You see, so I think supporters should also try to stay calm and work in accordance to the visions or views or the interests of the leader.
All right.
So I want to make an interjection there. See, the APC members in Ondo State are loyal to their party. It is their party that disappointed them. Do you know why I say so? If you look at all the shenanigans that went around during that primary, you find out that the party schemed them out. They are genuinely aggrieved. Choma, you are here with this news has been coming. They bought the form, they bought their interest form, expression of interest form, and they campaigned. They spent their money to do all those things in Nigeria. Is money. And they canvassed, especially when you talk about, there are grassroots politicians. They're going to mention Wale Oke. And that commissioner for finance, who said that Akeredolu anointed him during his first tenure, even before Ayeditiwa came in. we say, okay, how many people did he anoint? You know, he said that Ayedetiwa was not in the meeting where he was anointed. You read it. So now they played their part as party men. But the party was also scheming them out. Because when you are a party and you are coming to equity, you do not come with clean hands. Their being aggrieved is genuine. And if I were to be in their shoes, I would be genuinely aggrieved. Because I played my part, then the party has already favored someone from the national, from the presidency. And in order to scheme me out, you now bring all kinds of shenanigans, all kinds of delay tactics during the primary. But you now favored someone. And when we raised concerns, you now appear as if you want to pacify us. No. So the only thing I would say is that them, as the men that have built APC, if they are really party men, they should let it go. Right. And work towards their party emergence. Because if their party did not emerge, it will also be to their disservice.
All right. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue. Do not go away.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on The Fact Today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Access to our money we put in the bank.
Which
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the people.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Oyo State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has declared that Governor Seyi Makinde and the Oyo State Independent Electoral Commission have disappointed the residents of the state. The party made this allegation through a statement made available to newsmen. Its publicity secretary, Wasiu Olawale Shadari. Correspondent reported that OISEC organized local government elections in all 33 local government areas of the state today. The state governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, had earlier declared the election peaceful. However, the APC, through its publicity secretary, Wasiu Olawale Shadare, alleged cases of non-availability of election officials, disenfranchisement of eligible voters, shortage of voting materials, violence and threats to life in some parts of the state. The party noted that this indicates both the governor and OISEC have disappointed the citizens. Honorable Godwin, you're a politician, so that title goes with you. So now, tell me, what is your take on Oyo State and APC's disappointment at the local government polls?
Well, we know the system. I don't know any state except for Kaduna and former Governor El-Rufai that conducts council polls and allows for more of level playing ground for opposition parties. Because if you ask me, it's always been winner takes it, or the governor constitutes the state electoral commission, and he bankrolls the elections or electoral processes for the local government elections. And in most cases, it's always been that the ruling party, the party in charge of the state, sweeps all the edges. It's always been like that, Nigerian factor, except like I earlier said, for Kaduna State, where former Governor El-Rufai appears to give some free hand to where the opposition has their dominance. So you can see that after the ruling party, the opposition party will have a couple of AGAs, you know, and that's the beauty of democracy. Not when you have this hegemony. It shouldn't always be winner takes it all. Sometimes when you allow, because believe it or not, the local government is the nearest government to the people, and it allows for the people to have a sense of inclusion, and they have to be allowed to have a say in who leads them in their respective local government councils. So whereby you begin to stifle opposition or to change the people's mandate or people's general will, then it is unhealthy. That is where you have insecurity, some edges in some places. Because trust me, where you have a political big wigs in the opposition, and ordinarily if given a level of playing ground, his party or candidates will emerge and they are being denied, it could call for violence. It could call for crisis. So I'm just a special appeal to state governors. We know you are in charge. We know you bankroll the council elections, and we know that you constitute the electoral body. Sometimes allow for the people's will, but that's the bit of democracy to prevail. So that when you have inputs, if you have a sound administrator, if you have a governor, a local government chairman that's not in your party, that emerges at a particular edge in your state, even if it's an opposition, and he's doing well because he has this leadership acumen, he's sound in leadership and administration, it is also to the benefit of the people. And it's also credit to you as a governor and your state. For example, now, look at Oti of Abia State. Trust me, we all are aware how Oti emerged. The people stood their ground, and if not for fate or destiny, perhaps it was his time, there were too many powers, there were too many actors or too many factors that could have actually stopped Oti's emergence. You are aware. Yes. So, look at now. Abians are actually the beneficiaries of it now. And it can also give kudos to the presidency and Nigerian government that, oh, you allowed for opposition to rule, and Oti is doing quite well. That is the beauty of this whole thing. So I think governors, to some extent, they should allow for a level playing ground in conduct of local government elections.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, let's look at the influence of the states in local governments. In fact, the interference of states in local government autonomy. Now, it's said that local governments are autonomous right now, but are they truly autonomous? Especially when it comes to elections. Why should the states be in charge of the electoral body governing elections in the states? Why should the state body be in control of the state INEC that will conduct the polls for the local government? Now, wouldn't that be a case of the winner takes it all, like Mr. Godwin rightly said? If the piper is it is who that pays the piper dictating the tune. Isn't that what is going to play out in practically all states across the federation? If the state government is funding the state INEC, why won't the state INEC do the bidding of the state government? The money they're using to fund it, is it PDP money? It's the federal money. It's money that comes from the federal allocation. It's the money for all the citizens of the state. So that question did not arise. Because if it's in a country where people obey the laid down rules, the constitution, and I keep saying it, the Electoral Act, you know, it will not be the case of why will the states allowed to constitute the states influence? The influence over the electoral. No, this is Nigeria. You know, the sitting governor has interest on who becomes even a ward chairman. If that is the case, you want to know how the people feels. Like what Mr. Godwin was saying about somebody emerging and who is representing the people. They don't see. This is where they build their political structure. The person that is in the local government, the governor wants to know the political big weight that is bringing the person. Will he be submissive? Will he be obedient? Just look at what happened in Rivers State. Only 2 months ago, the governor directed that the workers in the local government should be paid the minimum wage. But you could see when the minimum wage was approved. But the local governments have been raking in billions as their allocations. What are they doing? They pay part sum.
some of the workers there will get retired, some will be dead, and there's no replacement. Instead, when they want to do something, they'll use party members, and after using an ad hoc staff to do something, they will be. See, there is a whole lot of rust in our systems. If a governor, what is the interest of a governor who is in the state capital, who emerges as a ward councillor? What is his interest? But this is what plays out in our politics. That is why most opinion molders and stakeholders have said Nigeria should define the name of the democracy they are practicing. Because this is not what we see. This is not democracy at all. This is democracy of we are a federating state and federating unit. If you see how the governors are pocketing the local governments and the federal is not blinking an eye, that shows you that we are really a federating state. But where you see them cry foul is when you touch the resources and allocation. They will say, it's a federating unit. This and that. In security, they say, I'm not allowed to give orders to the commissioner of police. But when you come in the real sense of what you should make the federal oversee the states, the federal government keeps mute. In as much as I'm not against the states constituting their state electoral commissions, the SECs, because if you say that the INEC should do it, it will be overwhelming. But INEC should, the electoral act should have made INEC to send in their monitors, send in maybe their commissioners in that state to oversee what is happening in the state electoral commissions. That's how to checkmate them. But if you now tell me that INEC should come and conduct election in 774 local government in Nigeria for ordinary local government election, I don't think it is apt. Right. But if the state governors willingly, we say that let the best candidates emerge, I don't think that we should be crying foul of this. Like Mr. Godwin said, you find out that any state, APC should not be disappointed because they know that is the norm. That is the ground norm. Even the states where they hold swear, that is what plays out. So they shouldn't be bothered about it. Even they should even be thanking goodness that Makinde agreed to even conduct the elections. So, and you should also note that the negative aspect of this that APC is crying foul is denting the efforts of some stakeholders in Nigeria who are saying that let's allow the states to control state police. Is it the way we are going to see it? When you ordinary electoral body, the governor, because you're using the state money, you now make it one of your, the extension of your chief of staff office. Because that's what it is. If they can dictate what happens there, they are controlling their chief of staff. So, if the state police comes, do you know that the fear of so many Nigerians and the opposition parties is coming to the fore.
All right, but we are not discussing state police.
No, I know, but this is exactly, this is what you are going to hand over to the, no, it's the same. This is what you're handing over to the governor as in his own exclusive list of the apparatus that is under his purview. The state sec is under his purview for him to appoint. But why not allow them to run, appoint people of credible personality and integrity, and allow them to run? Anybody that emerges, you can control them with the House of Assembly. You can control them from the commissioners and the State Executive Council.
State to shut up and allow him deliver on the promises he made to the people. He said those who govern the state in the past have had their time and should allow peace in the state to enable him work for the people. The governor, who spoke while addressing members of the All Progressive Congress, Riders, Benue Riders Coalition for Alia, and other groups who came to welcome him back to the state after his working visit to the United States of America, said his government would not relent in its commitment to the well-being of the people. Mr. Godwin, what is your take on Governor Alia shooting an arrow at the former governors? Now, in this case, Otom and the SGF, George Akume.
Well, I completely agree with Governor Alia of Benue State, because there is this thing that is common with Nigerian politicians. You had your time, 4 or say 8 years maximum. You had an uninterrupted, you had everything, and probably you couldn't do much. But because you've seen somebody who has come, who has vision, clear-cut vision, and policies, economic policies for the state, and wants to do well, so you are afraid he's going to come and raise the standard or raise the bar and probably emasculate or submerge whatever little thing or legacy you put on ground, which is probably not enough. And for fear of being overshadowed, you want to start talking. But you had your time. You had 8 years. You couldn't do much. Allow the young man who I feel or I think is focused, because somebody who knows his onions are those who say such things. If the governor doesn't know his onions, doesn't know what he wants to do, he wouldn't talk like that. It doesn't appear to me as a weakness. So I support him. Let his predecessors allow him have his own time. Okay. And probably I think the people are with him.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is your take on the governor's stance?
Governor Father, Reverend Father Hyacinth Halia is my compatriot, because they should remember that he's a philosopher. He is a philosopher. He studied philosophy, he studied theology. And philosophy, all other subjects of human endeavor is embedded in philosophy. So he had everything that they know. He knows it. Any angle that they want to come, while he was studying, he studied symbolic logic and what they call logic and clear thought. You understand? So none of them is more positioned. Any of those leaders that have governed Benue State is more positioned to understand and have more interface with worldview as what the experiences that Father Alia have. That is why he made such statement. In as much as I don't buy his choice of words, he should have looked for a way to play around it. But none of them, academically or, why he has worked in so many diverse places as a priest and know the feelers of the people. That is what he has come. Like Godwin said, they had their time. You know that in Nigeria, any governor that comes doesn't come with the party manifesto. He has his own agenda. Some have 4, some have 10, some have. So most of the governors there who did not play a role in his emergence, he has an organic support. He's a Catholic priest, and Benue is dominated by Catholics. Yeah. So he has a court followership. The people, because if you know what APC as a party did to Benue people and left them at sea to be extinct from the surface of the earth, you will not even think that Benue people will vote for APC. They are not voting for APC as a party. They voted for the personality, the person who was coming to salvage them. Yeah. Because remember why Otom left APC? He was calling on former President Muhammad Buhari and the APC to come and assist him on this security that was bedeviling his state. When he could not get what he did, he said, why am I being in the mainstream, staying in at the party that is controlling the state, while my people are dying? That was why he jumped ship. But even when Alia was coming, I was thinking on my mind, will this man win, given how APC treated the people of Benue State? But the people jettisoned it. So let them allow the man to function, and whatever he has in his sleeves for his people, to salvage them agriculturally, let them get their lives back in agriculture, and let him solve the problem of insecurity there, and let there be peace in the warring communities there, so that the people can have their lives back. So they should allow him to function. They should not play the role of Obasanjo to any other president that has come after him. You know, that is when you will see the loopholes, because you know, when you are a team player, if you are in the football pitch, you will not see anything, but when you are outside, you can score 11 goals in 1 minute. So let them leave him. We know they are seeing the loopholes, but let them allow him to have his time, right, so that they can criticize him.
Okay. A Kano Federal High Court, presided by Justice A.M. Lehman, has restrained the acclaimed executive members of the All Progressive Congress, Ganduje Ward, from suspending the party's national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, pending the hearing and determination of a suit filed by the former governor for enforcement of his fundamental rights. Ganduje had approached the court through his counsel, Barrister Hadiza Nasser Ahmed, seeking the enforcement of his fundamental rights to fair hearing and freedom of association, pursuant to the Enforcement and Procedure Rules 2009, as subsumed under Section 46 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Justice Lehman gave the order after hearing an ex parte application moved by Ganduje's lawyer. Additionally, the presiding judge directed all parties in the suit to maintain status quo before the emergency meeting of the said executive members of APC Ganduje Ward, and to stay all action in respect of the matter pending the hearing and determination of motion on notice. Now, Mr. Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu, you've had your say several times around what this goes from suspending Ganduje. Now, that's a breather, at least for now, for Ganduje. But how do you see this playing out in the coming weeks for Ganduje and the APC at the national?
In as much as Ganduje has the right to go to court, but like I told us the last time, he has misfired. His handlers did not handle it well.
Why do you say so?
You know, because once this issue has started having its days in the courts, Ganduje is already a goner, because no party. Remember, I always say he did not understand what he represents in APC. He's the image maker of APC. This is how Oshomole went. This is also how Adamu went. No, I mean the APC. APC, right. In the trajectory of APC hierarchy. This is how they went. Because, see, if Ganduje and his handlers are thinking that the people that are doing this thing are those people that are appearing on the camera, they are not politicians. The people that are drumming this music that is playing now are more than the people that is in the world. But they know that they can only puncture Ganduje from the world level. So you remember, you have known all the accusations that are surrounding him, even in his home state, that are bringing up the dollar issue, and they are investigating him, and there are evidences that has already, and even the person that is leading the anti-corruption commission was appointed by him. I read an expose from him when he said that they even want Ganduje not appoint him. They want Ganduje not appoint him because he is somebody who does not play to the gallery. So he has all the cases of the infractions that Ganduje allegedly committed during his tenure, and he has come out with it. So he still has his days in court. But for him battling to retain his seat as the APC chairman, he has lost it. Because I told you here that if his handlers are handling him well, they should not have, rejected, or they would have not suspended those. When you say they are fake, where is the suspension emerging from?
3 factions.
I know. Yes. I mean the first state that came out.
Okay.
That pronounced his suspension. They said they were fake, but
initially they suspended him. So the question is, how do you suspend
people who are not even party members? So you ask that question. So now, You know, there is no need of breaking our heads for this. He would have his hands filled because they have mismanaged it. Okay. Ganduje, from what I know about the people in APC who are eyeing the seat, and who knows that he is not the kind of person, I have told you, Ganduje is not charismatic. Ganduje is not an orator. He's not a person that should be, by his body language and countenance, he should not be somebody that will be leading a party who wants to be vibrant, who is battling a third force that is coming in the obedience. I don't want to call about Labour Party because I don't know where Labour Party stands now. And you have seen the people that have left PDP in Imo State now, we don't know where they are hibernating. So there is a lot of, you know, a lot of boiling waters in the Nigerian politics. We don't know whether there is a mega party that is coming. APC is already trying. Yes, that is going on even from El-Rufai and from what Ihedioha has done in Imo State now. So APC members are agitated. They should be on their toes. And there is no Ganduje that will galvanize them. Look at all the problems that are happening. If not the person of Oshomole, the reconciliation we saw in Edo State wouldn't have happened. It is look at what is happening in Ondo now. I think Ondo and North Ponte now. Look at it. So he is already a goner, and those people that are fighting him are not even only members of an MPP as they are alleging. There are powers in APC that are pushing for his removal. Who have vested interest in the position of the national Even if they don't like the person of Ganduje.
All right. Let me hear your thoughts on this, Mr. Godwin.
I think Ifeanyi has said a lot, but I just hope our courts do not become just a supermarket for shopping any orders that you feel you can procure, because you are restraining what excuse from suspending somebody that has already been suspended. Which one comes first? Okay. He has been suspended, and the court now is restraining them for action that's taking place. Does it make any legal or rational or logical sense? It doesn't. So I think from that angle, it goes to tell you, just like you said, his handlers are really defaulting. They are not really up to speed with political development.
How to handle such issues.
And in any case, I think this should serve as a lesson to, as a politician from a particular ward. It is important to really hold sway in my ward.
And oily too.
Because where most political parties, political leaders have their problem is from the wards. And the moment your ward is being infiltrated by some external force or enemies, you are finished.
Yes. He can't come out of it.
It is important if you have a ward chairman, you have ward secretary, and
romancing and oiling them.
It is important you do not undermine them, or just employ them or appoint them and just put them by the side. People are hungry, so maybe a powerful force comes down and pays them some money that they can be resisted.
Yes.
So, but I think Ganduje has too much fight too much forces to contend with, and that's it.
More than what they are saying.
All right. The former Senate President and Chairman, Board of Trustees of the main opposition People's Democratic Party, Senator Adolphus Wabara, has vowed that any attempt by the ruling All Progressive Congress to turn Nigeria into one-party state would be vigorously resisted. Senator Wabara, who was responding to the reported mass resignation of some key PDP members in the Southeast geopolitical zone, accused the APC of using some elements in the PDP to disintegrate the party. Barely 24 hours after the former governor's exit, PDP was hit by a wave of resignation following the alleged resignation of some of its key members and officials in Imo State. What is your take on this? You remember you mentioned it in your last conversation when you were analyzing the last issue we discussed. But then, the issue is here. What is your take? Do you actually think APC is tilting towards one-party system?
APC is not tilting towards party system. Towards one-party system in Nigeria. Okay. Let me tell you, the problem Nigerian politicians have, the traditional Nigerian politicians, is the stomach infrastructure politics. Politics of you want to put your mouth where your belly is. So that is the only problem that Nigeria, they don't have, all the parties don't have ideology. Even as politicians, they don't believe in one ideology. Because if you are a Democrat, there is something that singles you out as a Democrat. If you are a Republican, there is something that marks you out as a Republican. If you are a member of the Labour Party or a congressman, there is something that, you know, the definition of that nomenclature is what drives your interest and your passion for seeing other political parties, and you say that this is where I can actualize my dreams. But in the Nigerian traditional politicians don't have. The only interest they have is where they could bake the cake, where they could get their share of the cake. So if they have not left it, that is, they cannot solve this problem of one-party system. Because anybody that wins election, everybody runs towards that party, just for what they will get. If the person, if the flag falls in the other side, they move. So that's not politicking, and that's what has kept us where we are. Right. Look at what the problem of PDP is, that they don't want to come out in the open and do what? Solve their problems. Do you know why? They don't want to look at the root of the problem. Is the problem they had with Nyesom Wike. The problem PDP had with Nyesom Wike, whom when the big wigs left PDP, he nurtured PDP. He was the pillar that held PDP. They don't want to acknowledge that. And when they say that the South has supported the North over time in PDP, is it not? Let the North support the South. They refused. Is there another time? And look at the meeting that they had, the NWC meeting they had. None of them could look Nyesom Wike on the face and say, you are our problem. Because they can't say it. Because the North started the problems. So, hence they cannot, they are playing through the gallery. Look at Wabara. Where has he been? Where was he when Wike held PDP? Even not that because of the problem Nyesom Wike started with them, and the BOT chairman stepped down just to balance the equation, and they said no, that the national chairman should go. That is why we are hearing Wabara. He was a senior president who has been hearing from him. So where has it been audited? Can he even Wabara now win a local government election in his state, Abia State?
Interesting.
So that is where, until the PDP leaders come to say the truth and say, Nyesom Wike, we are sorry, we have betrayed you, and all the things you have said is the truth. PDP, because once they come to a roundtable meeting and Nyesom Wike is there, relax, nobody can say anything, because he will be looking at you to see what you will say. What are you going to say where he's seated? So once they continue to run around this small issue that own up and say, we are sorry, we were misguided, and now let us come back to the status quo. Nyesom Wike will say, and over a man has an adage that just accept that you are my wife. Any other thing that you like, do, because no other man will hold your hand by the hand in front of me, because I am your legally married husband. But any other thing you want to do, acknowledge that I'm your husband and do it. That is what Nyesom Wike is asking. And until they realize this, PDP will continue to beat around the bush.
All right. Mr. Godwin, what is your take?
What does Wabara has up his sleeves to stop one-party state? If the ruling party or the president in his disposition wants to actually see how he can incapacitate opposition parties and hold firm of the polity by strengthening and makes his ruling party more stronger, or make it stronger.
Okay.
You see, in as much as I don't support Wagbara and his empty vows, because like he said, trust me, if Wagbara goes for local government chairman election in his state or AG, he will not win.
That's the truth.
He doesn't
have a political clout.
They are spent forces.
Yes.
They are spent forces. What is his clout? But I know one thing, that Nigeria is too big to be run by one-party system. Even if I do know that the president's body language or his disposition is tilted towards that.
Why do you say so?
Yes, I'm saying that because President Ahmed Bola Tinubu was governor of Lagos State. 1999 to 2007. And since then, Lagos has been run by the party he belongs to. There's not been any change in power from another party, even if he lost his
presidential
presidential bid. So he is a man who is favorably disposed to party hegemony, one-party system. I just know that because his antecedents actually has shown that he doesn't want opposition, and that is it. But I think that can't happen because there are forces. Look at Nigerians didn't see Obi coming. Nigerians didn't see Obi coming. So I think there are forces that's beyond whatever can make Nigeria have a one-party system.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has listed the projects already completed by his administration in the nation's capital. Wike said his administration is keeping with promises made to residents of the territory. The FCT minister made the statement in Abuja over the weekend when he carried out a routine inspection of ongoing road projects in the Abuja city center. The projects visited by the minister include the construction of the Southern Parkway from the Christian Center to Ring Road 1, full scope development of the Outer Southern Expressway from Villa Roundabout to Ring Road 1, and the construction of the Vice President's official residence. Others are the completion of B6 and B12 Circle Road, also known as Independence and Constitution Avenue, and full-scope development of the arterial road N20 from Northern Parkway, Shehu Musa Yaradua Expressway to Outer Northern Expressway, Murtala Mohammed Expressway. Now, let me start with you, Mr. Ugochukwu. What is your take on the projects being flagged off, completed by the FCT minister?
You know, when you hear about Nyesom Wike, you not be in doubt of what he can do, because each man has his strongest point. Once it comes to project and delivery of the project, you can give Nyesom Wike 110%. And once he gives you, he mobilizes, you know, and he does not take any kickbacks from those projects to make sure that he will hold you accountable. And you, as the person who is going to do the construction, we have no excuse to give, because what delays projects in Nigeria we have known. You saw what he did in River State. How many years did it take him to flood River State with flyovers? So all the projects he did were masterclass, and doing it without looking back. So he has gone to FCT. He marked the projects that he will execute in so time, and he's doing it. So what else could you say of the man? Only that the FCT people are in for the person that we march on them, but it will be for their own good, because you can't take that away from him. Because anywhere that you want to bring in development, so there are people will suffer momentarily, but it is for the greater good. Right. So what he's doing in FCT is apt, and he will be the person that will put smile on the face of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the myriad of projects that will be going around. That is the 1 year in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be marked with a 1 full week activities, because he will be going around to commissioning these projects by the FCT minister, and the kudos to him. He has done well in 1 year. All right. Or less than 1 year in office.
Less than 1 year. Okay, Mr. Olori Godwin, quickly, what is your take?
Well, Nyesom Wike is not a figure that is strange to me. I am a bona fide citizen and indigenous of River State, and 8 years of Nyesom Wike is 8 years as the governor, left much to be desired. So there's nothing too spectacular.
Other people will be racing to beat his records.
There is nothing too spectacular about those pocket of project is actually embarked at the FCT. What he did in River State was actually centered in Port Harcourt, Faga, and Obiakpo. The project is doing in FCT. I don't know the standard or the quality of such projects, but if I am to judge from what he has done in River State, then I think I will score him low, because I'm from River State, and as far as I'm concerned, the 8 years of Wike and whatever plethora project that
there is a lot of projects that he did, and those projects are top notch. A project he did with Julius Beja, a project he did with Julius Beja, and all the known construction companies in Nigeria, and even the ones, any project he's doing in FCT, he's also saying the names of the construction companies that are doing it. No, I can't sit here and let him designate the years on Wike that I know. But you are also a living witness to what he has done. You are a living witness to what he has done in River State. What was in River State then? Even these 2 local governments that you're talking about, what was in place? What was the roads looking like? What was the security of the place looking like? So go to Abuja and see what he's doing. And what he has done, it is even the blind can see it, and the deaf can hear about it. The deaf can hear about it, and the blind can see it. Wait and see. Before the 29th of May, you will see the projects that are top notch that will be delivered to the FCT citizens. You will see the projects top notch that is going to deliver on Monday. But all I know is that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu will be, his hands will be filled on the projects that are top notch. Look at the vice president laws that have been abandoned for years. Nobody remembers it, and now it is 98% completed. No, but these are Nigerians. We have been complaining. We have been complaining of the wait. We have been complaining of how Nigerians are not. What are we living?